We are on Unit 5, Light and Sound, and we are on Day 2, What is Light, Part 2. So we are actually going to be going back into our readers today and rereading our chapter about what is light with a little bit of a new focus. Like I said, as I said yesterday, a lot of the things that we are going to be going over and doing over the course of the next few weeks with light and sound, it's a lot of nonfiction. It's a lot of facts. It's a lot of information that we're going to be learning, which that's higher content stuff. It doesn't mean we're going to read it and know it the first time we come across it. So oftentimes we're going to have to do rereads or pre-reads even. So we're reading it before we talk about it and then reading it again. So today's one of those days where we're actually going to go back in and reread a little bit from yesterday as well. But I do want to talk to you guys a little bit today about what we're going to do. But I want to review from yesterday. So the first thing I want to talk about first is what is light? Yesterday we read about what is light. That was our question we were working to answer. What is light? Haley.
Light is
That's okay, Grayson. What do you think?
it's energy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Simple as that. Light is energy. Light is energy. And where is planet Earth's main source of light? Where do we get it?
Sun.
The sun. Our main source of light is going to be from the sun. And we learned that light travels through what? Wavelengths. So we've got those wavelengths that are going to be the light. We've got long wavelengths and we've got short wavelengths. And that's talking about the distance between them. If it's a long wavelength and they're more spread out, we are seeing what color?
Red.
That red. And when they get closer together, what are we seeing?
Violet.
That violet, that purpley color. Very good. Aiden, what's your question?
This wasn't a question, but the leader says that light carries the, what is it called?
I know. You find it for me, okay? Yeah. As we go through this. So what are other sources of light? We know our main source of light is going to be the sun, but what are some other sources of light? Turn and brainstorm with your neighbors quick.
Light bulbs.
That's a great point. Yep. That's an awesome thing to bring up, Aiden. 3, 2, 1. So what are some other sources you guys talked about that we either came across yesterday or you can think of more? What's one of them, Joey? What was that?
No, the moon was not one because
Stars. Fabulous. So stars are a source. First he said moon, but we have to amend that a little bit, change it a bit, and he said stars. So Joey, we're going to go back to that one though because you said moon to begin with. What did we learn about the moon yesterday?
that the sun is like reflecting from the moon.
Yep, that sun's reflecting on the moon and that's why it looks like it, but is the moon actually giving off light? Nope, but the stars are. Very good. And the sun is just a big giant star too. Very good. What else, Kason? Light bulbs. They're giving off light as well. Claire, what else? Fireflies. And that's what Lexi mentioned yesterday too. Hurry up, Lexi. Are those fireflies. It's a source of light. It sure is, definitely. Ray.
A flashlight.
Flashlight. And it's going to be that bulb in there helping it. Perfect. Yes. Candles. Candles are going to be some. Thinking outside the box, kind of in that realm of that firefly, what are other different sources of light that maybe we didn't read about but kind of come to your brain?
Does like forgot mine, but a phone.
Yep, and that's going to be those lights, those bulbs inside there. Yeah, phones, they're giving off light, aren't they? Mr. Kyler. TVs, and those are going to be those the lights in there as well, but great. Haley.
So there's this animal in the sea and it has this like the fish. Yeah.
Do you guys know what she's talking about?
Yeah.
How many of you have seen Finding Nemo? That big old one that has the flashlight, right? And he turns it on and he chases them and then he bites his own flashlight and he can't see anymore. Definitely. That's not a light bulb inside of there. That's part of his being. Just like the flashlight, the firefly does the same thing. It's part of it that's glowing. Good. Zena? Okay. That's okay. The sun, definitely. Charlie?
I've got two.
Give us one.
Would be, glow stick.
That's what I was thinking of. Glow sticks. How many of you have ever played with glow sticks before? At our house, it's super popular to take glow stick baths. I was the worst person yesterday in the world because I didn't get them glow stick swords. I mean, that would have been pretty awesome. We take glow sticks and we put them in the bathtub and turn the lights off.
Oh.
And then their bathtub's glowing. And I spend way too much money every year letting my kids do glow stick baths. But they love it.
Do you put water?
Yes, it's just a glow stick in the water. Of course I put water in it. No, I don't. We don't crack open the glow stick and dump it in their bath. It's just glow sticks in their bath.
Yes, one time I licked.
Okay, you guys get me off task. But those are fabulous examples of different sources of light. And yes, you can probably think of more, but we're going to move on, okay? To give you that chance to at least share to someone, turn and tell your neighbor one more or repeat one. Go. 3, 2, 1. Now, 2 units ago, we talked about the 5 senses, right?
Yeah.
What sense do you use in order to perceive light?
Your eyes.
Your sight. Very good. The eyesight is what you're going to use for light. Very good. Today, we are going to start a read aloud. And our read aloud is called What is Light? And I want you guys to listen really carefully today as we go through our reader. And I want you to hear, how do I phrase it? How light is described in our story. So it's going to be described using different adjectives and other words. Remember, adjectives are?
Words that describe nouns.
It's words that describe nouns. You guys are after my heart today. The noun we're describing today is light. So I want you to think of adjectives that are used in our reader today, or in our reading today, that describe light. So keep that as a focus in your mind today. I also want you to listen to how the 5 senses, eyes, ears, nose, taste, and your feel. How the 5 senses are used by the characters in our read aloud today. So I told you a little bit that our read aloud is going to be realistic fiction. So put it away. Our read aloud today is realistic fiction. So it's fiction. It is a made up story. You're going to see the images in our story today are drawn. But the things that we read about that are happening to the characters could really happen. The conversations that the characters have in our story today could really happen. And the facts and the information we learn in our story today are real. So it's made up, but it's really based around facts and information and things that could actually happen. So I put it away. That was very silly. I'm going to go ahead and do our vocabulary, and then we'll jump into our read aloud. Sound good? Perfect. Okay, so we'll start with our vocab. Our first word is going to be the word illuminates. What's our word?
Illuminate.
If something is illuminated or illuminates, it's just going to be providing light. So our lights illuminate our room. This light illuminates that section of the room and makes something clearer or easier to see or understand. So if something is illuminating something, it's making it brighter, easier to see. Go ahead and throw that away, Ryder. Our next word is the word energy. What is our word?
Energy.
Whatever else you had in your hand, go throw it away. Energy is going to be a force or a physical power. So energy is something that all living things need in order to exist and in order to be active. Without energy, you cannot exist. You would not be active. When you are feeling really low on energy, how are you feeling? Tired, right? You need that in order to exist. So it's going to be that physical power that helps us get grooving, right? Energy. The reason I did choose this picture is we have a lot of different types of energy. We are talking about light energy, but we also get energy from wind, and we can collect that as well, and electricity. And turn it into electricity. So how we get energy and use energy and store energy is going to be different. So kind of why I picked that one. Next up, we have the word light waves. I did not know that moved, and that is super cool. What is our word? These are going to be invisible rays that carry energy in straight paths. And this is what Aiden was mentioning earlier, is he was saying light wasn't energy, but it carried energy. So it's important to know that the light is energy. Light waves carry that energy in straight paths. And we see that in that movement form, right? And we've talked about when the waves are really long, what happens, and if the waves are really short, what we are seeing. So we are actually seeing those light waves as color.
Yeah, rainbow. They're bunching together.
Yeah. And next we have particles. What's our word?
Particles.
Particles are going to be little or very small bits of something. So we are going to be thinking about teeny tiny particles today and talking about that word particles. Our next word is?
Rays.
Rays are going to be not our Ray in our class. Spelled different. We have so much rays. She is a ray of sunshine. Rays are going to be lines of light that travel in a straight path from a bright object. So that's why I have this here. This is our bright object, and we see those rays traveling out in that straight path. We often hear about the sun rays, and we've talked about it in science too, how the rays are traveling straight out. So depending on how the earth is tilted, you're either getting the straight on rays or the ones that curve around. Yep.
Put in attendance.
You got it.
Thank you.
And our next word that we have is the word shadow. How many of you know what your shadow is? It's fabulous that you know your shadow, but a shadow is going to be an area of darkness that's created when light is blocked by something. So we always, in our basement, stories of my children, in our basement, we shine flashlights, and they like to make puppets or dance in front of it. That shadow is appearing because when you have that light and you block it, you're able to, what's showing is that blocked piece of light. The sun would be right here, and what you see is what's blocked. So, whoop, right? So just letting you guys kind of know what that shadow is, and we're going to come across that today in our reading as well. So we'll get ready for our read aloud.